more and more areas of the gaming industry will get hyper casualized.
Hello everyone, I'm Batuhan from Mobilictum. Today I have a special guest, Managing Director at Sunday, a successful hyper-casual publisher from Germany, Christoph. Christoph, welcome.
Nice to meet you, Batuhan. Thank you very much for having me.
Nice to meet you too as well. Let's start with our questions. So, what is the story of Sunday? Great name. I will ask you where the name comes from as well. How it started, because it's almost 3-year-old company, so you have quite a little bit of history. How it started?
Yeah. So it's I would say it's like the company officially is like 2 years old now, but we started thinking about it 2.5 years ago. So I have two friends working in the edtech industry for quite some years now. They founded AppLike, or the AppLike Group. What it is now, it's mainly an ad network focusing on several ad formats, and they talked to me about this idea. Hey, we want to go into building our own content, into building our own publishing, right? So I have never built a game before in my life, right? But I always like a good challenge, and I have been somehow involved with software development in general since I'm 14 years old. So like doing some coding myself, working in a big unicorn tech startup on the executive level. So I've seen like a lot of different layers of what is possible with mass scale software, and I always like a good challenge, right? So I thought like, hey, that's a really cool opportunity, a really cool thing to do. If you had asked 16-year-old me, hey, do you want to work in games, I would definitely say yes, totally. So it's also like kind of like a childhood dream, maybe, like for many people working in games, right? Yeah, so like we brainstormed a lot like how we want to do this, and yeah, I came up with the name Sunday because I wanted something extremely relatable, right? So you see many gaming studios choosing like a cool or like more male aggressive name like Thunderstorm, whatever, right? And I want something which is much more nice and something what everybody likes. So I thought in this direction, okay, well, what is something everybody likes? Everybody likes ice cream, right? So like there's no person on the world, I think, that does not like ice cream. And then I thought like, okay, what are different names for ice cream? And there are these like Sunday ice creams that you can get. These are these cups, but then it's written with AE. And I really didn't like that so much because then you always have to spell it, right? It's like people would ask like, hey, how do you write the name? Is it with AE? Why? Like, is it like the weekday? And like, okay, let's just choose the weekday because actually also Sunday is best day of the week, right? That's the day where you get together with your family, with your friends, you're having a barbecue, you're just enjoying the time, right? So it's like the best combination of a food that everything likes and the best day of the week that everybody likes, right? And that's also how we make our games, right? They're extremely relatable. Everybody likes them. They're just easy and nice to enjoy.
I really like the positive vibes. Like now I know the story, name, logo, the color palette you have, the font. I mean, like the branding is really good, and it definitely fits for hyper casual, like for sure. You already explained how you started like the hyper casual, but what's the main motivation? What drives you every day to run this studio?
So what everybody has here at Sunday is a lot of passion for the process of building games, right? So you really have to enjoy this environment that we're in. It can be very tough, it can be very hard, and you fail a lot. Everybody knows that. But we want to attract people here that really enjoy this fast-paced environment with a lot of creativity. When you constantly come up with, on the one hand, super crazy and funny stuff, and then combine it with like this very deep tech analytics part, all the ad networks that are connected to it, right? So we want to have this like perfect mix of people who are able to balance both worlds. And I personally really like this environment, and I like working with those people. So what brings me to the office every day is the people that work here at Sunday, because I really like this brainstorming, coming up with cool creative solutions to big problems. So not just building the games themselves, and everybody here at Sunday has a lot of freedom of coming up with their ideas and implementing them. I'm not the guy who says like, yeah, let's build this game and now let's build this game. Like the teams come up with those ideas themselves and don't need any green lighting by me. But I really like this, like building up this environment of like, hey, let's share the best stuff and let's build the best out of it, and like doing this with cool and smart and funny people. That's what motivates me.
Awesome. I'm looking at your games. In meanwhile, Cat Escape, 40 million downloads. That's the top one, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that was our game changer that we had 1 year ago. So the first year was really like focusing on figuring out, hey, how does this work? How can we make a hit game? And then Cat Escape was launched 1 year ago, and this really changed everything around the process, and it's still going very strong. So you can check it out on Sensor Tower, at any Apptopia. You will see like we still get really good downloads for it, and it's paying our rent. Let's put it this way.
Nice, awesome. Well, you already explained like the motivation as well, the coming up with the new ideas, brainstorming, and so on. But what's the essence that you like in hyper casual? Like you must play, I don't know, hundreds of games, different prototypes every day. But I mean, I can understand that it's also exhausting. But what do you like about it most?
Yes, sure. As you mentioned, that everything is possible, right? So yes, on the one hand, it's like this coming up with like brand new stuff that, but also being really crazy and going wild with your mind. But also on the other hand, this super analytical part and like combining those two worlds. That's, I think, is the most interesting for me. And regarding this energy management, I think like everybody who works in this industry like reaches a certain point where they're being like overwhelmed, right? And because you constantly think like, okay, this is the next hit, this is the next hit, and then more often than not, you get crushed, right? So you really get punched in the face by the data, and you see like, okay, it's not working out. So you really have to learn to control your expectations, right? So you still need to bring the best ideas and the best motivation every day, but then you also need to detach from this and like let things go and just focus on enjoying this process of creativity, of analytically working, and at the same time like scaling up the process and scaling the company, because everybody here who works at Sunday, they don't just build the games, they actually work on the company and making it bigger and more successful.
Why does Sunday exist? Like, what do you do besides everyone else? What's different?
What's different for us? So I think first of all, we are coming from like development side ourselves, right? So we have built everything here that we have from the ground up. You know, it's not just, we didn't start out with, okay, here's a publishing team, just go out and get a bunch of studios. And then we follow the standard industry metrics, and then we just put in the standard stuff, right? So for us, it's really important to have a very deep understanding of what we're doing here. And that's why we started out with, okay, we built out the in-house production first, and we really nail the process and get really good at it. And then we are able to share all of these learnings with our partner studios. So, right. So for me personally, I don't like bullshitting, right? So like when I talk about a certain topic, I want to feel like really I know what I'm talking about, and the same way the company operates, right? So before we go out into the world and explain everybody what to do and just copy what everybody else is doing, we really want to nail it down first for us and really understand it in a deep way. And then we scale it up and share it with everybody else.
Did you decide to start publishing operation after Cat Escape, or you had the idea, then you build the game, you learn the process, then start sharing the knowledge?
Exactly. We first built up Cat Escape, like we first built the game, made it a hit, then really set up our scaling infrastructure, right? Because you also need a lot of know-how and resources in user acquisition, monetization, right? And only when all of this was in place, we said, okay, now is a good time. Now we know what we're doing. Now we're able to handle and support other studios. And then in May, we set up our publishing operations, and also like after 1 month already landed our first hit with Plaquette there, but only because of all the work that we have done before that, and gaining this deep understanding of the market over 1 year.
Okay, dear Mobilictum followers, if your publisher is also a game developer, you should have a look and chat with Sunday. Right. I mean, you already mentioned a few details, but as a developer, as a hyper casual studio, why I should work with Sunday, and especially Turkish studios, why we should work with Sunday?
So let me answer the question regarding Turkish developers first. First of all, 1/3 of the company of Sunday, or more than 1/3, I think, is actually from Turkey. So we were really able to get over the best people from the best Turkish studios with a lot of experience. They're really elite guys here, and we really appreciate also the energy that they're bringing with it, right? So I think like what maybe the German mindset is lacking in it a little bit, that the Turkish mindset can compensate a bit more, which is like a lot of drive and creativity and like working around obstacles, you know, while maybe the German mindset is a bit more structured and more like long-term maintenance oriented, right? So I think it's a very good combination. And that's also what we are seeing, like when working together with Turkish studios, external studios, which we have actually the majority also as well is from Turkey. So yeah, we have here the people who speak Turkish, who know the culture, who are from there. We know the mindset. We know how we can complete each other basically and have a good synergy. And then overall, why anyone should join Sunday now as a partner studio is that at the current stage we're in, that you get like a really exclusive treatment here, right? I think for many of the big publishers, yes, of course, you can just join them and enter their self-service dashboard and you're just number 2000, right? Nobody really cares about you. Here you gotta get a very different treatment because like right now when you join, you're one of the first 50 basically, then you get a really good onboarding here to everything. You get insights to our own processes. We share a lot with you. I also personally share a lot with the studios as well. We analyze the data together, but you can also actively help shaping our processes. So if you have a certain need as a studio and you say like, hey, there's something that I want that no other publisher was ever able to provide to me, for us now it's the perfect chance to learn together with you what we need to build together, right? So you can actively help shaping Sunday by giving us your requirements and telling us like, hey, I want this from you. This is my expectation. And I don't think you have this opportunity with many other publishers who are like more like give you a fixed package and it's take it or leave it. That's it. We can offer much more flexibility there.
Diversity definitely creates a strong company culture, I think. And you mentioned going over the obstacles. Yes, our mind is pretty good solving that kind of problems.
Yes.
That's correct. Right now, you're doing a really good job. The other day, I had talked with a lot of studios. I heard the Sunday name a lot. I see that you're doing really good PR. Not telling you to promote you right now, but like you're everywhere. Like it's going well. What's the overall plan? Because when you compare yourself with big publishers, their problems are different. Your problems are different, right? If a studio comes and works with Sunday today, it will be one of the first ones. Yeah, you can actually grow together. That's good. But you do all the PR right now. You're going big. There's already a cash cow on your pocket. What's the growth plan overall in the future? How will you maintain this personal touch with the studios?
Yes, totally. So I think looking back a little bit, first year of Sunday was really about figuring out the market and being able to build games ourselves. We have cracked that, we have solved that. Second year, which is now almost complete, was about building up the publisher infrastructure. So the publishing team, the whole user acquisition team, the monetization team, creatives team, right? And being able to take any game that we get the opportunity to scale and really pump it up and make it a hit and have also like a long-term success, right? So for us, it's really, we don't focus so much on the charts, but really getting the really good, stable profit out of the game for many, many years and so on. And so we have invested now a lot of this infrastructure. So next year will really be a lot about realizing all these investments that we have made into the infrastructure and actually scaling a lot internationally. And there are still some missing key pieces in our infrastructure that we will tackle. So first of all, we want to build out our toolbox that we offer to developers. That means we have very, very good publishing dashboard with all the insights about the game, all the data that you need on a very, very good understanding. The good thing is, like from our sister companies inside of the Apply Group, we have a lot of BI analytics tools. And basically, we are giving development studios access so they can really understand all of their game data at a very deep level. So they will have all their test results in there, but they can also analyze like, how is my game doing on the quality side, meaning how are people playing through the levels, how much time are they spending per levels, how many ad impressions are they seeing per level, right? So really deep analytics. And like you won't need any other tool basically, except for our publishing dashboard. That's one point that we are focusing on the next year. And the next thing is providing studios with the best data that they need to come up with the most successful ideas. So really like this, analyzing the market, sharing all of what we are seeing, all the patterns that we are seeing, and potential game ideas or like sparks that might create ideas with the studios, or even sharing finished game concepts with the studio so that everybody, depending on their level, how comfortable they're feeling with ideating, can work extremely successfully with us.
You mentioned the sister company. So I believe being in a part of larger corporation, especially who has a tech background, is definitely helping with your tech, the data part of points, right? That's the additional value for Sunday.
Yes. I think that's also one of the key parts, right? So there are several aspects for it. So first of all, we get a lot of user acquisition sources that have a really high quality. We have the whole toolkit that was developed by our sister companies over the last years. It's like our own tracking dashboard, basically, for measuring user acquisition and optimizing it long term. Then also on the monetization side, we have our own ad network, basically. And then this is all backed up by largest European media company, Bertelsmann, which gives us a lot of stability on the background. So we're not constantly on search for the next investor. And we're also not pumping up our revenue artificially to have an exit, right? We are doing this for the long run. And we want to build up really stable and big publisher for the future and form long-term partnerships and not just like burn through studios, burn through money and get a good IPO, right? That's not our goal.
Another key point that you mentioned is not pumping the revenue for exit, because I know a lot of studios actually like they cannot understand these metrics because your publisher's overall strategy might be completely different than the actual what you're going to get. So that's also a really important point.
Exactly.
All right. Well, almost end of 2021. Great year for the industry, great year for hyper casual. But what's next? What do you think will happen to hyper casual?
Yeah, the market is always evolving, right? So like when you look at the games, how they looked 3 years ago, 2 years ago, 1 year ago, you always see a really big difference. And I mean, the only thing that is for certain is more diversification, right? So 2 years ago, I think every hyper casual was like very, very basic, some super simple physics-based bouncing ball, whatever, right? And there will always be extremely simple hyper-casual games, but also branching out into other categories, which are more on the mid-core casual side right now. So we seeing a lot of hyper-casual games going to the narrative direction. We are seeing idle arcade popping up, so like these real role play or world building variations, right? So I think more and more areas of the gaming industry will get hyper casualized, right? And people will figure out more and more ways how to take certain concepts that are already successful in different areas and different genres and crack them for hyper casual. And then like a lot of optimization into these different branches, basically, right? So that means before that, you had hyper casual games look like this, and now the spectrum is opening up. Like we will see a much larger spectrum, and that also means a larger LTV spectrum, right? Before that, maybe your LTV for a game was around 30 cents. Now it's like maybe between $1 and 10 cents, right? So, and this means also more complexity on understanding if a game is going to work, right? So in the past, it was like, yeah, you need 45% day one and 30 cents CPI on Facebook, and that's it. And then, your game is going to scale, but this is not so easy anymore, definitely. Like you have to look deeper into the metrics. You really have to understand all the dynamics on the game side and also on the marketing side.
Definitely the entry barrier. I mean, making a simple hyper casual game is still the same, right? Unity is probably even improving better features that you can develop an easy game, super easy, but the competition is coming more fierce, more studios are coming, the marketing budgets are increasing and so on. Definitely we'll see more competition. Well, Christoph, thank you so much for sharing all the insights and the story of Sunday. For the Turkish studios, you can write to Haluk. He's an amazing publisher manager. He will take care of you for sure. For the international audience, please write to anyone at Sunday. Plus
Publishing at sunday.gg. Just write us an email.
Sunday.gg. Okay, we are going to share all the links related with Sunday. Christoph, thank you so much again for coming and sharing the insights. And thanks for watching, everyone.
Okay, thank you for having me. It was a lot of fun. Nice to talk to you.